Imagine holding a device in your hands. It has over 30 precision gears. It can predict eclipses. It can track the planets. It can model the motion of the moon with uncanny precision. And it was built more than 2,000 years ago. Now imagine an iron pillar. It has stood in the open air for 1,600 years, through monsoons, through dust storms, through centuries of rain and heat, and it has not rusted. Imagine a fire. It burns on water. You cannot extinguish it. It burns hotter when you throw water on it. The formula for this fire was a state secret, and when the empire that held it fell, that formula died with them. These are not myths. These are not legends. These are real objects, real technologies, built by ancient civilizations, and modern science still cannot fully explain them. This is the story of 10 ancient inventions that should not exist. 10 technologies that challenge everything we thought we knew about our past. 10 mysteries that remain unsolved. Welcome to Fallen Frequencies. The Antikythera Mechanism. In the year 1900, a group of Greek sponge divers took shelter from a storm off the coast of the island of Antikythera. While waiting for the weather to clear, they decided to explore the waters below them. What they found would change the history of technology forever. Resting on the seafloor, buried in the wreckage of an ancient Roman cargo ship, was a lump of corroded bronze. It didn't look like much, but inside that lump was something impossible. Over the following decades, researchers used X-rays and CT scans to peer inside the corroded mass. What they found was astonishing. A complex mechanism with at least 37 precision bronze gears, differential gears, a technology that would not be reinvented until the 16th century. The Antikythera mechanism was an analog computer. It could calculate the positions of the sun and moon. It could predict solar eclipses decades in advance. It tracked the 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games. It even accounted for the irregular orbit of the moon using a sophisticated pin and slot mechanism that modeled what astronomers now call the lunar anomaly. The level of mathematical and engineering sophistication in this device is staggering. Nothing even close to this complexity appears in the historical record for another 1,400 years. Who built it? The leading theory points to the Greek astronomer Hipparchus, or perhaps Archimedes himself. But the truth is, we don't know. What we do know is that the Antikythera mechanism proves that ancient people understood mechanical computing at a level we never imagined possible. And it raises an uncomfortable question. If this device existed 2,000 years ago, what else existed that we haven't found yet? The Baghdad Battery in 1936. Construction workers near Baghdad, Iraq, unearthed a small terracotta jar. At first glance, it seemed ordinary, just another ancient artifact, buried beneath centuries of earth. But inside, archaeologists found something unexpected. A copper cylinder, an iron rod, the entire assembly, carefully sealed with asphalt, and it was nearly 2,000 years old. To a modern engineer, the design looks strangely familiar. It resembles a simple electrical battery. When researchers reconstructed the device and filled it with an acidic liquid, such as vinegar or grape juice, something remarkable happened. It produced electricity. Not much, only a small electrical current. but enough to prove that the design actually worked. That discovery raised an extraordinary question. Why? What purpose could electricity have served 2,000 years ago? One theory suggests that these jars were used for electroplating, using electricity to coat metal objects with thin layers of gold or silver. Experiments have shown that such a process is entirely possible. Others disagree. They argue that no electroplated artifacts have ever been found from this period. Perhaps the jars simply stored sacred scrolls or religious objects. Yet one mystery remains. More than a dozen nearly identical jars have been discovered, each built using the same combination of terracotta, copper, iron, and asphalt. If they were merely containers, why repeat a design that just happens to function as a battery? Whether it powered ancient experiments or served another purpose entirely, the Baghdad Battery reminds us that history still holds questions without clear answers. Roman concrete. The Pantheon still stands in Rome nearly 2,000 years after it was built. Its enormous concrete dome remains the largest unreinforced concrete dome ever constructed. It has survived earthquakes, floods, wars, and the collapse of the empire that created it. Now compare that to many modern concrete structures, bridges, piers, seawalls. Many begin to fail after only a few decades. Cracks appear, steel reinforcement rusts, repairs become inevitable. So why has Roman concrete endured for nearly 20 centuries? The answer lies inside the material itself. Roman builders mixed volcanic ash, lime, and seawater. Together, these ingredients triggered a remarkable chemical reaction. Over time, tiny mineral crystals formed throughout the concrete. Instead of weakening with age, the material became stronger. Even more astonishing, when cracks appeared, water seeped inside. Those same minerals began growing again, slowly sealing the cracks. The concrete healed itself. Modern scientists, using electron microscopes, X-ray analysis, and advanced chemistry, have only recently begun to understand what Roman engineers discovered through observation and experience. A formula thought lost for centuries is now inspiring the future of sustainable construction. Sometimes, the greatest innovations are not new discoveries. They are ancient ideas, waiting to be remembered. Damascus Steel. Imagine a sword. Its surface ripples with a pattern like flowing water. Bands of light and shadow weave across the blade in mesmerizing waves. This sword could cut through armor. It could slice silk drifting through the air. And it held an edge so sharp that legends grew around it. This was Damascus Steel. For more than 1,000 years, no craftsman outside the ancient workshops of Syria truly understood how to create it. The steel itself began in India. Special ingots, known as wootz steel, were transported across great trade routes. But in Damascus, master blacksmiths transformed that metal into something extraordinary. The finished blade possessed an almost impossible balance. It was incredibly hard, yet remarkably flexible. Strong enough to survive battle, and sharp enough to become legendary. The secret wasn't simply in the forging, it was hidden deep within the metal itself. When modern scientists examined surviving Damascus blades under powerful microscopes, they made a startling discovery. Tiny carbon structures, similar to what we now call carbon nanotubes, were embedded within the steel. Carbon nanotubes were only identified by modern science in the late 20th century. Yet somehow, ancient smiths produced a material with similar microscopic properties more than 1,000 years earlier. How was it possible? Researchers believe the answer lies in a perfect combination of rare Indian ores, trace elements, and an incredibly precise heating and cooling process. A difference of only a few degrees may have changed everything. The technique demanded generations of experience, knowledge passed from master to apprentice, never written, never fully explained. Then, around the 18th century, it disappeared. Trade routes changed. The original ore sources became unavailable. The final masters died, and with them, the secret vanished. Even today, despite advanced metallurgy, electron microscopes, and modern laboratories, recreating true Damascus steel remains extraordinarily difficult. Ancient craftsmen, armed with little more than fire, hammer, and patience, created one of history's greatest engineering mysteries. The Lycurgus Cup. Inside the British Museum sits a remarkable Roman artifact. At first glance, it appears to be nothing more than an ancient glass cup. It dates back nearly 17 centuries. Its surface depicts the mythical king Lycurgus entangled in twisting vines. But this cup hides a secret. When illuminated from the front, the glass glows a rich emerald green. Yet when light shines through it from behind, the very same cup transforms into a brilliant crimson red. No paint changes, no hidden mechanism, only light. For centuries, no one understood how this was possible. Then modern scientists placed the cup beneath an electron microscope. The answer was astonishing. Mixed within the glass were microscopic particles of gold and silver, not flakes, not dust. Particles only about 70 nanometers wide, smaller than the wavelength of visible light itself. Today, we call these nanoparticles. Modern laboratories spend millions of dollars studying how nanoparticles interact with light. The Romans somehow achieved this, inside a simple glass workshop, using furnaces built nearly 1,700 years ago. Even more remarkable, the particles are astonishingly consistent in size. If they had been only slightly larger or slightly smaller, the dramatic color-changing effect would never have appeared. This was no accident. Fragments of other Roman glass reveal evidence that similar techniques were used elsewhere. The craftsmen understood exactly what they were creating. Then, just like so many other ancient technologies, the knowledge disappeared. For centuries, the secret remained hidden, inside an ordinary-looking drinking cup. Today, the Lycurgus Cup stands as one of history's earliest examples of nanotechnology, a reminder that ancient civilizations sometimes mastered ideas that modern science would not rediscover for over 1,000 years. And it leaves us with one final question: how many other remarkable technologies were created, used, and then quietly lost to history? The Iron Pillar of Delhi. In the heart of Delhi, India, stands an iron pillar, more than 7 meters tall, weighing over 6 tons. It was forged more than 1,600 years ago, during the reign of the Gupta Empire. Since then, it has stood beneath the open sky, through monsoon rains, desert winds, relentless heat, and centuries of pollution. Almost every other iron object from that era has long since rusted away, but not this one. A thin, dark protective layer coats its surface. Beneath it, the iron remains remarkably intact. Modern metallurgists eventually uncovered part of its secret. The iron contains unusually high levels of phosphorus. Over time, that phosphorus reacts with the environment, forming an incredibly thin protective barrier, only a few microns thick, yet strong enough to prevent further corrosion. But another mystery remained. Iron with this much phosphorus should be extremely brittle. Too brittle to forge into a monument of this size. Ancient Indian blacksmiths somehow solved the impossible. They removed enough carbon to keep the iron workable, while preserving the phosphorus needed for protection. Even today, reproducing the same combination of strength, purity, and corrosion resistance remains extraordinarily difficult. The iron pillar is more than a monument. It is evidence of metallurgical knowledge, centuries ahead of its time. Greek fire, Constantinople. The year, 678. The Byzantine Empire stands on the edge of destruction. Enemy ships fill the harbor. The city is surrounded. Then, something extraordinary happens. Byzantine warships move forward. From bronze tubes mounted on their bows, a stream of burning liquid erupts. The flames spread across the sea. They cling to wooden ships. They cling to armor. They cling to skin. Water cannot extinguish them. In fact, water seems to make the fire burn even more fiercely. This terrifying weapon became known as Greek fire. Its exact formula was one of the greatest military secrets of the ancient world. Only a handful of trusted individuals knew how to make it. The secret was protected for centuries. And when the Byzantine Empire finally fell, the formula disappeared forever. Historians believe Greek fire may have combined petroleum, quicklime, sulfur, and resin. Some theories suggest chemicals capable of igniting on contact with water or air. Yet no modern reconstruction has ever matched the descriptions found in historical records. Whatever the true formula was, it protected an empire for nearly 800 years. Then, it vanished, leaving behind one of history's greatest technological mysteries. The Longyou Caves. In 1992, a farmer in eastern China decided to drain a small pond. What he expected to find was mud. Instead, he discovered a staircase carved into solid rock, leading deep beneath the earth. The staircase opened into something astonishing. A gigantic underground chamber, then another and another. Today, more than 20 enormous caverns have been discovered, each carved entirely from solid sandstone. Some rise over 30 meters high, every wall, every ceiling, every column covered with perfectly parallel chisel marks. Each groove is evenly spaced, each angle astonishingly precise. The scale is almost impossible to comprehend. Researchers estimate that more than 1 million cubic meters of stone were removed, enough to build a small mountain. Yet no records describe the construction, no inscriptions, no official documents, no legends, nothing. Even more remarkable, the chambers remain structurally stable after 2,000 years. They are naturally ventilated, perfectly drained. Their acoustics are extraordinary. A whisper in one corner can be heard across the chamber. Who designed these caverns? What tools did they use? Where did all the excavated stone go? And why does one of the greatest engineering projects of the ancient world appear nowhere in written history? The Longyou Caves remain one of archaeology's greatest unsolved mysteries. The Voynich Manuscript. In 1912, a rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich purchased an unusual manuscript from a Jesuit library in Italy. It contained more than 200 pages, every page filled with elegant handwriting, beautiful illustrations, and a language that no one on Earth has ever been able to read. Today, it is known simply as the Voynich Manuscript. Carbon dating places its creation in the early 15th century. Its pages are filled with strange plants that exist nowhere in nature, astronomical diagrams that match no known star charts, mysterious bathing figures floating through elaborate systems of green pools and pipes. Yet the greatest mystery is the writing itself. The script follows recognizable patterns. Words repeat naturally. Sentences flow consistently. To every statistical test, It behaves like a genuine language. For more than 100 years, the world's greatest cryptographers have tried to decipher it. Military code breakers, professional linguists, artificial intelligence, supercomputers. None have succeeded. Not a single sentence has ever been translated with certainty. Was it a forgotten language? A secret code? A medieval encyclopedia? Or perhaps one of history's greatest hoaxes? We know the parchment is authentic. We know the ink is authentic. We know someone invested months, perhaps years, carefully creating every page, yet after centuries, its message remains completely silent. Pumapunku, high in the Bolivian Andes, more than 13,000 feet above sea level, lie the ruins of Pumapunku. At first glance, they appear to be little more than scattered stone blocks, but a closer look changes everything. Some blocks weigh more than 100 tons, each one carved with astonishing precision. Perfect 90-degree angles, perfectly flat surfaces, intricate channels, interlocking grooves, complex H-shaped designs that fit together like modern engineered components. The stone itself presents another mystery. This is not soft limestone or sandstone. It is diorite, one of the hardest stones found in nature. Modern builders require hardened steel or diamond cutting tools to shape it accurately. Yet, according to archaeology, the Tiwanaku civilization possessed only simple copper tools that should have been incapable of producing work like this. Even the Inca, who arrived centuries later, believed these structures had been built by gods or by giants. Today, no explanation fully accounts for the extraordinary precision still visible in every stone. Pumapunku continues to challenge everything we think we know about ancient engineering. 10 artifacts, 10 mysteries, 10 reminders that history may be far more complicated than we once believed. Some of these technologies, modern science has finally begun to understand. Others remain stubbornly unexplained, but they all share one thing in common: knowledge can be lost. Civilizations rise, civilizations fall, libraries burn, empires disappear, and sometimes the greatest discoveries vanish with them. Perhaps these are not isolated mysteries. Perhaps they are fragments of a much larger story, waiting to be uncovered. Somewhere beneath the oceans, hidden beneath deserts, buried under forests, or resting silently inside museum collections, waiting for someone to ask the right question. The Antikythera Mechanism was discovered only because a storm forced a group of divers to shelter beside a forgotten shipwreck. Imagine what still lies undiscovered. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the forgotten technologies of the ancient world. If you enjoyed this documentary, please subscribe and become part of our growing community of curious minds. Every stream of our original 432 Hz soundtrack on Spotify helps support future documentaries and allows us to continue exploring history's greatest mysteries. The link is waiting for you in the description below. Until next time, keep questioning, because the greatest mystery may not be what our ancestors knew, but what we have forgotten. This is Fallen Frequencies.